Cooper leading out the side, and they will line up as follows. Brandon Pickersgill at fullback, wing three-quarter line, Dalton Grant, Ashley Gibson, Lee Smith and Ethan Ryan. The half-back pairing this afternoon, Elliot Minchella and Dane Chisholm. The front row forwards, Steve Crossley, Vila Halafihi and Callum Bustin. The back row forwards, Matt Garside, James Laithwaite, and Sam Hallis comes in for the injured George Milton. On the bench, it will be Ross Peltier. Liam Johnson comes in for Liam Kirk, Mikey Wood and George Flanagan. The referee, as we've already just said, from Dewsbury, Michael Manningfield. And it will be the Bulls to get proceedings underway. They will play left to right. Hemel Stags will have first use of the ball. Bradford in there. Change strip of all red. Let's have some fun here in Hemel Hempstead on a scorching Sunday afternoon. It's Bulls Live and proper sport. And immediately on the restart, the fullback and the former Doncaster man, Matt Wellham, will turn around and he will find the front row forward, Rory Dixon, who will take tackle number 1 for Hemel. And head coach Dean Thomas certainly looking for a bit of respite after 3 tough games in their last 3 outings, facing Workington, Oldham and York. And you focus back to last week, John, a 16-try defeat against the York City Knights. They'll be looking for some sort of response against the Bulls this afternoon.
Yeah, Mick, definitely. I mean, these teams at the bottom of the division are doing it really tough at the moment. I think the standard of the top 6 teams has really improved this year. And clubs like Hemel are struggling to find a foothold in this division. And
side. And you might be able to see Andrew Chalmers, the Bradford Bulls co-owner, also John Keir, the Bradford Bulls head coach, over on the far stand side next to the dugouts. They've decided to have a very shallow viewing position this afternoon. So Bradford inside the Hemel half, leading 6-0 after that early try from Dane Chisholm, looking to put more pressure on the Hemel Stags line. Halafihi to Chisholm to Busting, brought down, 5 away to the left-hand side of the uprights. Here goes Minchella. Laithwaite's lost the ball on contact. First error of the afternoon for the Bradford Bulls. Scrum, head and feet to Hemel Stags. Here, John.
Yeah, sorry, John, it's Tom Maguire here. We just want to apologise. The Facebook stream just suddenly had a bit of a meltdown, but we are back on. Apologies about that. If you could give us a share, that would be greatly appreciated. We're working with 4G here, so please bear with us. If there's any more tech issues, we will, of course, aim to bring you the game live and in full here on Proper Sport.
Well, we've just heard the voice of Tom Maguire there. We do apologise. We're actually commentating right next to the railings here to get the best connectivity, so our commentary position, similar to that of Andrew Chalmers and John Keir, very shallow, and I'm sure a lot of the supporters of both clubs and rugby league fans in general are quite appreciative of Bulls Live and Proper Sport for bringing this game, this coverage this afternoon. So, as we said, please bear with us. We're in the hands of the connectivity gods, but the penalty count now, John, even up, 3 penalties apiece. So 6 early penalties from referee Michael Manningfield. Bradford guilty of laying on there.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't continue. I think both teams just struggling to find a bit of rhythm at the moment, Mick. Hemel now their 3rd or 4th set of possession, just inside the Bradford half. But I think Bradford don't look like they're running on all fours today at the moment. So hopefully that's going to change.
As we said, it is a hot, humid afternoon here. Hemel Stags currently winless, 13th in the table. Bradford 2nd, and looking to put pressure on York. We'll keep you up to date with the latest scores with the 3 o'clock kickoffs when they take place, but it will be Stamp out of dummy half, attacking Laithwaite and Hallis. Last tackle for Hemel, 20 metres out, centre of the field. Lewis Sharif puts the kick in. Halafihi charges it down, and he will smother that one like a £20 note blowing in the wind on Blackpool Promenade. It's Hallis out of dummy half. It goes to Chisholm. Chisholm on that left-hand edge, and he will carry Bradford inside the Hemel half. 5 metres in field and 5 metres in from that far stand side. Lee Smith, dummy half to Pickersgill. Pickersgill back to Hallis. Sam Hallis, as we said, he's had a 2-week rest. He's certainly looking very productive and adventurous. Here goes Busting down the middle. Callum Busting, of course, played on this ground last season when he had a loan spell at Oxford, so he knows all about Pennine Way and the contours of the pitch. Minchella, reverse pass on the inside to Hallis. Last tackle for the Bulls. 15 metres out in front of the post. Goes to Chisholm, crossfield kick. Looking for Ethan Ryan, the man that can. Ethan Ryan in the corner, but the touch judges are going to say it has been grounded, dead in goal. He just run out of tarmac. They avorted the takeoff, and it will remain Hemel Stags 0, Bradford Bulls 6 on Bulls Live and Proper Sport, with approximately 11 minutes gone on the clock, John. So Hemel showing a bit of resistance, a bit of resilience.
Yeah, they are at the moment. Like I said, Bradford don't seem to me as if they've got off the bus yet. I know we got an early score and Dane kicked the conversion, but like I said, it just seems a bit stop-start. But for me, what Hemel are not doing at the moment is they're not making the most of when they got the ball. The last kick, the Vila charge down, was quite soft.
He's now at Hemel Stags. 4th tackle gone for the Stags. Stamp out a dummy half. It goes via the hands of Cullimore. Cullimore over on that far stand side. He's lost the ball. Picked up by Pickersgill. And that's the 4th error in this first half from Hemel. And Pickersgill will have the ball a couple of metres in from touch. We're going to see the 7th penalty of the afternoon. Hemel just a little bit eager inside the 10. And as we said, going into this game, Hemel Stags currently in 13th, played 10 defeats, no points. They've lost all 11 games so far in 2019. 18, and their winless run actually stretches back 16 games to August last year when they beat the South Wales Ironmen 22-4 away from home. So it would be a rare occurrence if Hemel could muster a shock win. It probably would be the biggest shock in rugby league since Sheffield beat Wigan in 98. Crossley will win a 5th penalty of the afternoon for the Bulls. Once again, Hemel guilty of laying on in the tackle, not allowing the big man to get up. So Halafihi will tap the ball 20 metres out from the Hemel post, and it will be Hallis on tackle number 1. What are the Bulls going to do here? Going to get a quick play of the ball in. Halafihi out of dummy half. It's going to go to Minchella. Minchella tries to reach out. He's brought down a metre shy. Bradford knocking on the door, and it's now a 6th penalty against Hemel Stags. Hands in at the ruck, says referee Michael Manningfield. He's certainly keen with the whistle. It's tapped by Halafihi to Crossley. Crossley's brought down underneath the sticks. Bradford 6-0 up, looking for a second try. Chisholm, Garside brought down by 3 Hemel Stag defenders on that far stand side. Back to go, down the middle. Chisholm to Hallis, and Hallis is now going to be brought down on tackle number 4. 2 tackles remaining for the Bulls. They're knocking on the door. It goes to Chisholm. Chisholm to Bustin. A huge, almighty slap there as Rory Dixon upends Callum Bustin. Chisholm on the last, into the in-goal area. Just a little bit too much on it. And with 14 minutes gone here at Pennine Way, John, the Bulls misfiring somewhat. Yeah,
like I said, it looks like they haven't got off the bus yet, some of them. Poor kick there really from down to end that set. You know, I think we should be spreading the ball around here. As I said, I think Hemel are going to tire, and Crossley and Bustin are already breaking up the middle and making some good yards, so we need to sort of benefit off the back of that.
Well, it's Bulls Live and Proper Sport. Mick Liddell, John Keys calling the action here from the sideline here at Pennine Way, Betfred League One, and Hemel Stags giving a real good account of themselves. Stamp now playing in the halves. We'll get the ball to Dixon once again. He's going to be brought down 20 metres out from the line. It's going to be Cullimore out of dummy half. The kick is the ball's being dropped on that left-hand edge, and that was Alexandra Williams who tried to put the kick in, and it will be scrum head and feed to the Bradford Bulls. Referee Michael Manningfield is going to say, although the kick did occur, it was a drop ball first hand, and as we said, Hemel's last win here at Pennine Way was 32-26 over Oxford, who disbanded in the off-season. That was last June, and the closest they've gone to getting something out of a game this year is a 22-16 defeat here at Pennine Way against the Coventry Bears. And John, I'll tell you something, referee Michael Manningfield's going to stop the clock. A Hemel player down, drinks break, just shy of the 20-minute mark. Bradford leading 6-0, so they've had a couple of penalties. They've made Hemel do a lot of defending, but they're certainly up for this one.
It certainly looks like it, doesn't it? And I'd say there's probably a few of the lads on each team that know each other as well, which always adds a bit of spice to the game. But for me, I think already know there's been a few too many penalties both ways, and I just think the referee, we just need to calm down a bit really and take the game for what it is. But he seems quite keen to blow the whistle at any opportunity.
Chris O'Neill happy that the video feed is fine. Stephen Gregory says that the Bulls looking a little bit sluggish this afternoon. Ross Peltier has been brought on from the interchange bench, and Ross Peltier, his first carry of the game will be a knock-on. So Bradford, a 4th error now in this first half, and it'll be head and feed to Hemel again, John.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a knock-on, to be honest. But like I said, he's blown it. It's a very, very stop-start game at the moment, isn't it? No fluidity from either team, really. But yeah, Hemel having a real dig here in the first 20 minutes and defending pretty well.
As I said, we do apologise for any connectivity issues. We are at the mercy of 4G here at Pennine Way on Bulls Live and Proper Sport, and no sooner has Ross Peltier come up with an error for the Bradford Bulls, Rory Dixon has dropped the ball as Hemel looked to move it out of the scrum, so it will be advantage back to the Bulls on the halfway line. We've got around about 18 minutes gone, so 23 minutes to go to half time. countdown clock, so we're literally going off the stopwatch, and Bradford 6-0 to the good. An early try from Dane Chisholm on their first attacking set. Since then, though, we've had 15 minutes of Hemel Stags making life difficult for the Bulls. But Vila Alafihi will go scampering out of dummy half, gets the quick play the ball in. Here goes Minchella to Laithwaite on loan from the Toronto Wolfpack for the remainder of the season's brought down 10 metres out. They go back down the middle with Peltier, Ross Peltier, brought down there by James Thornton. Last tackle, and it's another penalty to the Bradford Bulls. That is penalty number 7 that the Bulls have received inside the opening 20 minutes, and referee Michael Manningfield will stop the clock and he will speak to Captain Lewis Sharif. John,
was that 7 penalties you said there, Mick? Was it in the first 20 odd minutes?
7 penalties.
Yeah, it's just, you know, what they can't do is Hemel, they can't afford to give away too many penalties, because piggyback penalties just lead to points. I don't know what's happened there. It looks like Ross knocked on the ball over the touchline, over the try line, and now Hemel are on the attack again.
Tackle number 1 from the Bulls there. Ross Peltier going close, but he's been adjudged to have spilt the ball over the line. So this first half performance won't be pleasing John Keir. I'm not sure if it's the dimensions of the pitch or the weather that's getting to him, but John Keir looking very concerned, looking over on the far stand side. Hemel out of dummy half from Stamp. It goes to no one. It's picked up there by the second row forward, Sonny Esselmont, the former Hulkiston Rover and Scottish international. He gets a quick play the ball in. It'll go down the middle with James Thornton once again. Thornton's wrapped up, 15 inside the Bradford half, 35 metres away, centre of the field. He goes back to Sharif. Sharif's going to kick early on the count on tackle number 4. And that has been knocked on by Thornton on the right-hand edge, and that will be a scrum head and feet to the Bradford Bulls. So just shy of 20 minutes gone here, and the scoreboard remains Hemel Stags 0, the Bradford Bulls 6.
Yeah, I mean, from my memories of Louis Sharif as a young lad, he was a full-back. I don't think he's a half-back, and I think his kicking is proving that at the moment. The last few kicks Hemel are putting at the end of their sets have not been good, and just turning over soft possession.
Clare Downs, the Bulls players look like they need some Red Bull. Stephen Canavan says we are better than this, and Brad Carl Suddle says they're watching in Bankthroat Cricket Club on the big screen. So Laithwaite up and over halfway for the Bulls, just a sole try as Bradford will move the ball from left to right from Chisholm. It'll now go back down the left-hand edge with Peltier, and the heavens are just starting to open here. I'm feeling a little bit of drops, John. We've got no umbrella here, and the referee Michael Manningfield will now actually put Hemel on the team warning. So 8 penalties to Bradford with 20 minutes gone, and Hemel, next player, is going in the bin. Dane Chisholm will find touch on the far stand side. Well, he's actually not going to find touch. He's decided to just tap it and go down the middle. So, Garside on number 1. Out of dummy half from Halafihi. It's going to go back down the middle with Steve Crossley. Some of the Bradford supporters behind us in the main stand just getting a little bit frustrated with what they're seeing. Halafihi to Minchella. Minchella to Pickersgill. Pickersgill to Gibson. Gibson towards the corner. He's brought down there by the winger, Marcus Elliott. Gets the quick play the ball in. Back to Minchella. Misses out Peltier. Minchella tries to do it himself, but he's suffocated by Chris Cullymore, the former Huddersfield Giant Academy product. Chisholm. Garside! And Matt Garside, after 21 minutes, will get Bradford's second try of the afternoon, and Matt Garside now has 6 tries in all competitions, and that is Bradford's 113th try of 2018, and Hemel's resilience and resistance is broken, John.
Yeah, interesting. Minchella got the ball there at half-back and actually decided to take someone on. I think we discussed this a lot last week at Newcastle, that there was a little lack of leadership, I think was how we described it. I just think we just need to manage the game better. There was an incident there 5 minutes ago on the halfway where we've got the ball and everyone's sort of standing around regardless of the pitch size, got to stick to the structures, and I keep saying it week after week. The processes will bring position, and the position will bring you the points.
And obviously a break in play now. Dane Chisholm will attempt the conversion attempt to the left-hand side of the uprights. That'll allow John Keir to get the message on to the players. Obviously, he won't be pleased with what he's seen in the first 20 minutes, John.
I don't think so. You know, I think the lads all know as well how John operates. And at the moment, as someone has commented online there, that we're struggling a little bit. So hopefully now that score will sort of ignite what we're doing, crack on a few more scores here.
Dane Chisholm makes it 2 from 2. Hemel Stags 0, Bradford Bulls 12 on Bulls Live and Proper Sport from Pennine Way. And 18 minutes to go to half-time. Hemel Stags are on the team warning, and skipper Lewis Sharif there just talking to referee Michael Manningfield. And Michael Manningfield still just... you can actually hear the conversation. You're that close to pitch side here. Just saying that, yes, you're still on the team warning, so you're going to have to watch your discipline after giving away 8 penalties inside that opening 20 minutes. So, the restart out over the sideline on the full. And I don't think we're going to see someone go for 10 after this penalty, John.
You'd like to think not, but again, Hemel have had an opportunity there and just done nothing with it, and I don't... It's a bit disturbing for me. You know, that it looks like they haven't actually got a regular kicker, and obviously in these games you need someone who knows what they're doing in that role.
So Bradford's 9th penalty, and they will have the ball 10 metres out from the line. Halafi to Michela to Grant, and Grant's lost the ball, and the error count now for the Bulls almost as high as the penalties they've received. Bulls Live Proper Sport, and the score remains Hemel Stags 0, the Bradford Bulls 12. And as we said in the preamble on Bulls Live, the Bulls arrive at Pennine Way on the back of a 5-game winning run, which include wins over Coventry, Doncaster, West Wales, London and Newcastle. They've scored 53 tries in the process in their last 5 games, and they're scoring on average 48 points a game. They're up to 12 thus far, but as we said, the connectivity issues perhaps affecting our commentary and broadcast might have filtered through to the Bulls players, John. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know about a can of Red Bull, maybe a bit more of 4G might do us some improve the performance a little bit. But again, another error there from Hemel.
That is Hemel's 6th error of the afternoon, and Pickersgill out of dummy half, attacking the Hemel markers, brought down 20 metres out from the Hemel line, just to the left of centre field. They'll go down the middle with Hallis. Hallis turned on his back. Great tackle there from the Hemel Stags defenders of Broadbent and Williams. It goes now from Halafi to Peltier. Delayed pass from Minchella to Pickersgill. Pickersgill caught in a whirl, and he's going to be brought down just inside the Hemel 10. Laithwaite in dummy half, fires it in centre field to Minchella. Minchella to Crossley. Crossley's going to be held up too shy of the line. 2 tackles remaining in this set of 6 for the Bulls. Chisholm with a shummy. Did Chisholm held up over the line? Has he got the ball down? No, he hasn't. They'll go back to the 10, the Bulls. Hemel defending for their lives and defending that 12-point deficit. They don't want it to increase further. They'll go back to the 10, and it will be the last tackle. So what will the Bulls do here? Chisholm has ball in hand. He'll play it. Halafi, Pickersgill, crossfield kick, looking for Grant. Dalton Grant takes it, palms it back to Gibson. Gibson back to Minchella. It's on the power play. Minchella kicks for himself. It's still in the field of play, and it's just wobbled over the dead ball line, or should I say the touch line on this Maidstad side, and it will be head of feed to Hemel. So it still remains Hemel 0, Bradford 12, 15 minutes to go to half-time. John Keys, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see a bit more depth from the Bradford attacking shapes. To be honest, it all seems a bit flat, and I think we're really struggling here, you know, to actually make any progress forward. The forwards are doing well. When the ball comes out, it all just looks like we're all a bit too close to each other, so maybe a bit more depth on the shape, I think. Do you know what, though? Full credit to Hemel here. 25 minutes gone, only 12-0 down, giving it a real good dig today.
Dominic Birch watching, so too Jack Wilson, John Tudor, of course, the Bradford Bulls timekeeper, Tracy Irby watching, and Dave Mason says this is a similar performance to Newcastle Thunder away. It's 2 stop-start and too many errors. And also Gary Boucher, I'm going to make a prediction now, Mick. It's not going to be 90 plus if the Bulls keep playing like this. Hemel looking for a 40-20. They've got the 40-20 from Lewis Sharif, and it will be a tap. 15 out from the Bradford line. So we're now going to see Hemel put a bit of pressure on this Bradford Bulls defensive line with 13 minutes to go to half time, and it's going to be tapped there by Stefanos Bastos. He's the Greek international. Last year he was playing for the Road Knights. Here come Hemel. As Ashley Gibson mistimes his tackle, that will allow the fullback Matt Wellham to be brought down, 5 away from the line, picked up at dummy half by Cullimore. Cullimore is brought down a metre shy. A grasp there from the Hemel players. Back he goes, centre field. Sharif. Sharif to Williams. Williams held up, he'll go back to the 10. Hallis, Peltier, Pickersgill there. And the pressure, it'll continue. So Williams plays the ball. Cullimore in at dummy half to Sharif. Sharif to Thornton. And that was a big tackle there from Steve Crossley on James Thornton. Last tackle, 10 metres out, crossfield kick. He's just put a little bit too much on it there as Lewis Sharif. And it's gone out on the full. It will be the power play, and it will be a play the ball for the Bradford Bulls.
Again, Mick there, the end of the set from Hemel, the kick in not too good, kicked the ball dead. Just think they're struggling with that a bit. They may get in a bit of field position, but they're not doing anything with it at all. The execution on the final play doesn't seem that good.
So Bradford, 15, shy of the halfway line. Mikey Wood, he'll try and inject some fresh legs into this Bradford Bulls attack. Alafihi trying to attack the markers. That is penalty number 10 for the Bradford Bulls in this first half. And the referee's going to say that the team warning has elapsed now, John.
Yeah, and also that was just a not square. There wasn't any intent in that. Fair play. Vila's just taking a rest now, but you know what with he spots everything, doesn't he? Real good scanner at dummy half, and one Bradford another penalty there.
Vila Halafihi, who we heard in the pre-match interviews, really enjoying his rugby under John Keir, and he's just left the field after nearly 30 minutes in this first half, where Bradford leave 12 points to 0, and on comes George Flanagan. A lot of experience and guile. Flanagan out of dummy half will find Hallis. Hallis, though, it's looking a little bit too pedestrian from the Bradford Bulls, if we're being brutally honest, as Hallis is brought down 5 metres out from the line to the left of centre field. George Flanagan with a show and go. Flanagan's over the line, but he's held up, and Flanagan will become the third Bradford player in this first half who's been held up over the line. The score remains Hemel Stags 0, Bradford Bulls 12. It's a quick play of the ball. The waste no haste as Chisholm to Peltier. Ross Peltier over the line. The ball's been stolen. It's an 11th penalty to the Bulls in this first half, and referee Michael Manningfield has had enough, and it's Sonny Esselmont who will take 10 minutes in the bin. A professional foul, stealing the ball, 3-on-1 as Peltier looked to score. So Sonny Esselmont, he'll go off for 10, and Bradford will play against the 12 men of Hemel, leading by 12 points to 0. Flanagan to Minchella to Laithwaite. Laithwaite, he's brought down a metre shy of the line. Incessant pressure now from the Bulls. Flanagan to Minchella. Minchella brought down by Sharif and company. 2 men in the tackle there. Flanagan misses out Wood to Peltier. Ross Peltier will crash over, and that will be Ross Peltier's 4th try of 2018, and that is more like it from the Bradford Bulls, going back to basics. And what a great attacking play there. Flanagan with a dummy, missing out Wood, and on the inside a cheeky little short pass in the bread basket, and Peltier crashes over, and it is now Bradford Bulls 16, Hemel Stags 0.
Yeah, good finish there from Ross. Interesting for me, the part of that play that made a difference was Elliot Minchella. Got the ball at receiver, and instead of just chipping it along the line there, actually got us to a point. Got a penalty, and we got something off the back of it. But again, Bradford still don't seem to be clicking yet, do we? There's a few issues here with fluidity, but hopefully now, I know I said it before, but we just need to keep the pressure on all the time. Hemel are down to 12 men now for another 8 or 9 minutes, so we need to make hay while the sun shines.
Joe Carnett saying the Bulls looking a little bit slow this afternoon, and Jordan Kane says Luke Eldridge doing a great job with the atmosphere. Barbara Border says great finish, Ross, as Mick Johnson joins us. Dane Chisholm then, yet to miss this afternoon. That goes between the posts. Hemel Stags 0, Bradford Bulls 18 here at Pennine Way, and it is Bulls Live and Proper Sport. Let us know where you're watching in the world. Rachel Duke, Edward Ratcliffe, and the East Ward Massive, he says, watching. And Janet Allinson says, what a very difficult time Hemel are giving Bradford today. We are finding the line but not getting the points, which is hard to watch, but I guess we just need a bit of patience and all will be well. 31 minutes gone here at Pennine Way, 9 minutes to go to half time, and Bradford have let the ball bounce in the in-goal area, and Hemel have got a goal line dropout from the restart, John. It's going from bad to worse.
Well, it just doesn't seem like they're at the races at the moment, does it, at all, Mick? You know, I know those kicks are difficult. They're the ones that are going heading between the posts, but somebody's got to make shout out and take responsibility.
Well, we've got Liam Coe watching, also Rugby League America watching from Washington DC, Daniel Rayner and also Tom Mitchell, and Steve Smith says hi from the caravan in Paisley Bridge. Steve Potts also joining us. If you're just joining us, it's been a bit of a lacklustre performance thus far from the Bradford Bulls, who lead Hemel Stags by 18 points to 0, courtesy of a Dane Chisholm try in the opening 2 minutes. And as we said, we've just seen Ross Peltier cross for try number 3. Here to Hemel though, putting pressure as it goes to Wayne Jowett. Jowett's brought down on the 3rd, 20 out from that Bradford try line as they look to create something down the middle. The ball's been palmed back to Chris Cullimore. Once upon a time in the same Huddersfield Giants Academy side as Ross Peltier. Cullimore will float it out to Stamp. Stamp a little grubber kick in behind Ethan Ryan. That's gone dead in goal, and it'll be a tap on the 20, and it will be a 7 tackle set for the Bradford Bulls. We have 8 minutes to go to half time here at Pennine Way. Bulls Live Proper Sport. It is Hemel Stags 0, Bradford Bulls 18, as Dalton Grant takes a slap on the shoulder. Hemel down to 12 men with Sonny Esselmont in the bin. Here goes Gibson on this right hand edge. Gibson's caught high, and here we go. The touch judge's coming in here because the referee wants to speak to Stefanos Bastos, and the referee has got to calm things down here. Ashley Gibson just down on his side in front of our commentary position, and on will come the Bulls physio. He gives the thumbs up to John Keir on the far stand side. But John, I don't think I've ever seen Bradford 11 penalties. He's gone to the back pocket. They're now down to 11 men. It is Kieran Moran in the bin, and as we've seen, John, 11 penalties.
Mick, that could have been a red card, you know. Right in front of us, knees into the back. That's horrendous from that fella, and to be honest, he's lucky to get a yellow card in my book.
Well, that certainly got the supporters behind our commentary position animated. Hemel down to 11 men. What will the Bulls do here? 7 minutes to go to half time. Dane Chisholm finds touch, advances the Bulls 10 metres inside the Hemel half. Flanagan to Wood. Wood brought down in a free-man tackle. That will mean only 8 players are back there. Bradford have the numbers. Here goes Dane Chisholm down the middle. Great cover tackle from Wayne Jowett and Williams. He's brought down just inside the 20. It goes to Wood. Wood down the middle, crashes onto a short ball. He's on his knees, gets up. Flanagan in at dummy half, misses out Hallis to Minchella. Elliot Minchella looks for support, finds Hallis. Hallis, one-man band, tries to go himself, can't. The door briefly opened and then shut, and that's 4th tackle gone for the Bulls. 2 remaining. Flanagan from dummy half, touches down, easy as you like. And George Flanagan, well, he's making a huge name for himself at Odsal in 2018. A post-season signing, and he's now got try number 10 of his Bradford Bulls career, John. 22 points to 0. The kick will come from in front.
Good finish though. I think you said it, Mick, before that, you know, a bit of a one-man show there with Sam. There are 11 Hemel players on the field, and Bradford have 13. Just need to do what we've practiced all week to keep scoring tries. I know this is the 4th try we've scored, but to me, it's still a bit lacklustre and no continuity of it really. But yeah, great from George. He loves doing that little show and go, doesn't he, when he's near the line, and got himself another try for the season.
Dane Chisholm will attempt the conversion attempt from in front. 22 points to 0. And I think when we reflect on the first half, we'll try not focus too much on the penalties and ill-discipline of Hemel, but more their defensive performance and keeping the Bulls at bay. But Chisholm makes it 4 from 4, and it is now Hemel Stags 0, the Bradford Bulls 24 against the 11 men of Hemel Stags. And we've still got 5.5 minutes to go to half-time, and we'll be seeing Sonny Esselmont coming back out of the bin in around about 2 minutes' time, John. So they're still going to be down to 11 for this next set of 6. And I think, John, if Bradford potentially can go back-to-back for the first time this afternoon, 30 points to 0 at half-time, despite playing as poor as we've seen, I think, you know, it certainly gives hope for the second half.
Yeah, well, I think the score will probably keep John. I mean,
Hemel kick out on the full, penalty number 12 they've conceded in this first half, and well, there's more penalties to Bradford in this first half than Gail Platt has had wives in Coronation Street, let me tell you that. And that
only just found touch, Mick.
There's only just found touch. It's all happening here at Pennine. Johnson to Minchella. Referee spotted a knock-on from Liam Johnson, who's just come on the field with his familiar black scrum cap. And yeah, he's going to say Johnson, he's not played the ball correctly, and Flanagan's come up with an error. So another error, 11th error of the first half from the Bulls.
Yeah, mate, it's just not boding well. But I think, like you said, if they get another score before half-time and they're 30 points in front, I think in these games, you know, as well, people's expectations of what's actually going to happen are a bit too high. So for me, as I said pre-match, 2 points in the bag will do me, whether it's 16, 14 or... But, you know, and now another soft penalty from Bradford.
Bulls Live proper sport, frustrating afternoon, a lot of whistle, a lot of penalties. Hemel, fine touch over the head of Ethan Ryan on the far stand side, and that is Hemel's 5th penalty of the first half. So we've had 17 penalties in total, and Lord only knows how many penalties we'll see altogether. But here come Hemel, only trailing 24 points to 0, and they're looking to get some points on the board, although they've made a half of it. Liam Johnson quickest to react. Can Johnson go the distance? Look at him go! Mo Farah, Usain Bolt, Johnson! Oh, he's brought down a metre shy! He gets the quick play, the ball in. Gibson's there, and it's another penalty to the Bulls. And Hemel are down to 10 men. They're down to 10 men. Sensational scenes here at Pennine Way. 13th penalty of the match for John Keir's side. Liam Johnson herring away, and that is as clinical and professional as fouls will come. We've got 2.5 minutes to go to half time. Bradford, the 13 men, surely they've got to make Hemel pay. So Esselmont, Moran, Broadbent in the bin, Peltier to Flanagan, back it goes to Chisholm, Chisholm to Minchella. It's come off the knee of Johnson, but it's been palmed down by a Hemel hand. Head and feet to the Bulls coming up here. And I tell you something, it's almost, well, I don't want to say it, John, but with the hooter about to sound behind us, it is almost like a pantomime at times.
Well, no, because pantomime...
At Pennine Way, Betfred, League One, round 11, Bradford leading Hemel Stags by 24 points to 0 after tries from Chisholm, Garside, Peltier and Flanagan in a ill-disciplined first half, littered with 18 penalties. Bradford awarded 13, Hemel awarded 5. Hemel having Moran, Esselmont and Broadbent sent for 10 minutes in the bin, and in what is going to be announced shortly, Hemel's biggest ever crowd here for a professional fixture. Bradford Bulls will certainly have incurred the wrath of John Keir at half-time, one would feel. Peltier up and up halfway, and now Ross Peltier is going to concede a penalty and is now given dissent, so the penalty count has just hit 20. We've had 2 early penalties at the start of the second half, and now Ross Peltier sent for 10 minutes in the bin. So we've had 4 yellow cards here now, and Peltier will join Moran, Esselmont and Broadbent in the bin. So 4 players off the pitch, and just looking at that, Esselmont will be shortly coming back on because he was the first Hemel player to be sent to the sin bin with 8 minutes remaining. So they'll be slowly back up to 11, but currently it is 10 against 12, and this is Rugby League here on Bulls Live and Proper Sport. Hemel, though, they're looking to get an early try at the start of this second half as it goes via Santino De Caro. De Caro's brought down and caught high. Penalty number 21 of the game now. Michael Manningfield putting whistle to lips, and as we said, the scrappiness at the start of from the first half has equally started at the second. So Hemel Stags awarded 3 early penalties. Are they about to score their first try in 180 minutes of rugby league? Referee Manningfield says held up over the line. They'll go back to the 10. The pressure will continue. And for those worried about the penalty count, the current penalty count is 13-8 in favour of the Bulls as the ball goes to Matt Wellham. Wellham tries an attacking raid down this right-hand edge. He's turned on his back by Garside. Referee Manningfield just making sure Bradford are back on the 10. The ball will just pop up kindly for Jowett. Jowett's brought down on tackle number 3. In at dummy half is Cullimore. Cullimore out of dummy half to Stamp. Stamp can't get past Johnson, and that was Mikey Wood, the 2 Huddersfield Giant loanees there, going for Stamp's leg. Last tackle, Cullimore out of dummy half. Inside pass from Sharif. That's been knocked on. It was the power play. It was the last tackle. Bradford will keep their line intact. And on Bulls Live Proper Sport, with 2 minutes gone of the second half, and Hemel now back up to 11 men, it is Stags 0, Bulls 24, courtesy of tries from Chisholm, Garside, Peltier, who's now in the bin for the Bulls after showing dissent, and Flanagan, John.
Yeah, I mean, poor from Ross. I think the referee showed in the first half he's not going to stand for any nonsense. And, you can't push people away to play the ball, and no need to say anything either. I'm looking now for Bradford to really step up here, and Bradford need a leader. There's plenty of leaders out there, but we need someone to put the shoes on and start doing it this afternoon.
Joe Carney saying the Bulls haven't been good this afternoon. Mick Clare Denham says Bulls should have really took advantage when Hemel were down to 10 men. They're up and over halfway on the last tackle via Flanagan, George Flanagan. Alice at dummy half to Chisholm. Chisholm looking to invite Ryan and Smith. Ethan Ryan probing for the ball. It's just come off the right knee of Darren Ford, and he will concede the goal line dropout. So at long last, a bit of creativity there from the Bulls, John, and the force their first repeat set of 6. That isn't even an error or a penalty.
Yeah, mate, much needed, eh? And I think I said first half, if Hemel had anyone be able to kick like Dane, then I think the score would be a lot different. But, Bradford have really got to ramp up their efforts this half. I know they're down to 12, but there's people off on both sides still, so they need to make a big stride forward here and start racking some more points up.
Pickersgill on the restart up to halfway, finds Wood. That's tackle number 1. Flanagan down the middle to Hallis. Hallis will attack Thornton. He'll also attack Williams. And in around 60 seconds time, Hemel will be back to 12. Flanagan a bit of out of sync passing there to Chisholm. Chisholm picks it up, and Dane Chisholm's immediately going to be wrapped up there by Darren Ford and Williams on this left hand edge. 5 metres in from this main stand side. Flanagan to Garside. Garside straightens up for the Bulls. Tries to reassert their purpose. 15 away. Centre field. Chisholm floats it out wide to Minchella. Minchella quick hands to Johnson. Johnson's brought down. Metres shy of the line. It will be the last tackle. Flanagan some zip to Chisholm. Crossfield kick. Ethan Ryan! He's just juggled the ball and gained it in And Ethan Ryan, he scored in his last 5 games, make that 6 scoring wins on the bounce potentially, 28 points to 0. And Ethan Ryan has try number 13 of the season, John.
Yeah, great finish from Ethan. I mean, there was a bit of miscommunication earlier in that set between George and Dane. But another great finish from Ethan. That's becoming a regular every week. That kick from Chisholm and a catch and try by Ryan. Much needed for Bradford, I think, actually, to try and, calm the ship a little bit here. And I think one of the sayings I've discussed with Joseph, we need someone to steer the ship around the field. And I think that's what we're doing a little. We're struggling a little bit, but the sooner we get to that, hopefully this score might calm everybody down a bit. But it's still a very, very stop-start game with lots of penalties in it.
Well, we've had 5 minutes gone of the second half, and Bradford has scored their 5th try of the afternoon, with Peltier in the bin and Esselmont back out there, and now Moran. So 12 against 12 until Broadbent will come out of the bin in a couple of minutes' time. As we said, at one point we had all 4 players in the sin bin. I don't know if the sin bin can hold 4 players. Here goes Dane Chisholm, yet to miss this afternoon. That one looks perfect. Great radar kicking from Chisholm, and a loud shrill blast from referee Michael Manningfield. And on Bulls Live Proper Sport, with 35 minutes remaining here at Pennine Way, it is Hemel Stags 0, the Bradford Bulls 30. John Keys.
Yeah, 30 points to 0, 35 minutes to go. For me now, really got to start driving forward here. I think Hemel will tie now in the next 10-15 minutes, so Bradford needs to take charge of this game and start running some tries in. Still for me though, Mick, we are lacking leadership, and I'm going to continue to look around now for the next 35 minutes and see if anyone's going to step up and do that.
Well, as we said in the pre-match amble, John Keir, he certainly had to adapt his side's game plan this afternoon. This Pennine playing surface, it's only 91 metres by 60. It's the smallest on the Pro Rugby League circuit. And when you talk about what has John Keir done, well, at Tongue this week, John Keir has certainly shortened and narrowed the training field to prepare them for today. But you might have shortened the training field, John, but you can't prepare for a wayward pass from Matt Garside being thrown into the sidelines.
No, you can't. And to be honest, Mick, no matter what the surface is like, if you're good enough, you can play. When I go out to Africa every year, I watch kids playing football on dirt tracks, and their skills are as good as blokes in the Premier League. It's about mindset, this thing. And also, I think we discussed it last week, mental agility, adapting to what's going on in the game at the time.
Hemel Stags now back up to 12 players, so 12 against 12 as a big hit comes in from Matt Garside, so he puts the squeeze on front row forward Wayne Jowett, who coughs up the ball. That's Hemel's 12th error in this match, and it's a 0 tackle. And here we go, there's another penalty coming up. That is penalty number 23 of the game, Bradford's 14th, and Dane Chisholm's going to find touch around about 30 metres away from the Hemel line. So Bradford potentially purring and probing for try number 6 of this afternoon. The sun's still blazing down here at Pennine Way. Fantastic afternoon rugby league here, and this record crowd for Hemel certainly a little bit frustrated, but the Bulls showing that they potentially could be about to cut free. Minchella to Pickersgill. Pickersgill on the right-hand edge inside the 10. Wrapped up in a three-man tackle. Flanagan goes in that dummy half roll. He's looking for Minchella. Dummies to Minchella, but finds Johnson. Johnson, 2 metres shy. Bradford about to score a 6th try of the afternoon. Minchella. Oh, Elliot Minchella. It was like David Copperfield making the Hemel defenders disappear. And Elliot Minchella will discourse through 4, 5, 6 Hemel defenders. And just like the famous magician, making the Eiffel Tower and Empire State Building disappear, he's made the Hemel defenders disappear. And it is now a 6th try for the Bulls. And it is 28 points to 34-0.
Indeed it is, Mick. Fantastic feat there from Elliot. It looks like there's a bit of momentum gathering here, doesn't it, now for Bradford? A little bit more structured on that set, and like you said, great feat from Elliot. Maybe a little opportunity on Strictly Come Dancing for him come next September, so fingers crossed.
As we said, no scoreboard here, no clock, 34 points to 0 it is now. And we've just seen Elliot Minchella cross for try number 21. of the season in all competitions. Scored 5 tries against the West Wales Raiders at Odsal in the Challenge Cup when they dispatched the Raiders 82-6 back in March. Dane Chisholm yet to miss with a boot. This to take the Bulls out of 36. 32 minutes remaining on the clock. Hemel 0, Bradford 36. And we've just seen 2 second-half tries in quick succession. First from Ethan Ryan and then from Elliot Minchella. And Hemel, they'll be in no rush to get the proceedings back underway. And I've just counted the Hemel players, and they are indeed back up to 13 now. So Esselmont, Moran, Broadbent, all out of the bin. And then it's Bradford also back up to 13 with Ross Peltier back out on the field. So we're at 13 against 13 now. Hemel defending on the 20 as it goes from Flanagan to Crossley. Steve Crossley wrapped up and turned on his back in a 2-man tackle. Flanagan out of dummy half to Peltier. Here goes Peltier, his first carry after coming out of the bin, and he will charge the ball forward towards the halfway line. Peltier tries to get a quick play of the ball in, tries to win a penalty, non-forthcoming. It goes to Garside to Chisholm. Chisholm's running out of tarmac on this main stand side, gets the ball out to Ryan. Ethan's wrapped up, 5 metres inside the Hemel half. Flanagan now back to Pickersgill. Pickersgill to Peltier. Peltier, like a man possessed now, is wrapped up on tackle number 5. Last tackle as it goes to Flanagan to Chisholm. They're going on the power play. Bullet to Smith. Smith grubber kicks behind, looking to put the fullback Matt Wellham under pressure, and Wellham does well. Great positional play there, and he will take the ball a metre or so out from his own try line as Lee Smith comes in with Flanagan for a second cover tackle. And let's not forget, it is Betfred League 1 round 11, and there's some interesting games elsewhere, none more so than Whitehaven against the York City Knights at the Rec. Bradford though, they're really putting the squeeze here now, you feel, on the Hemel Stags, who are still 5 metres out from their own try line. They try to give it through Stamp to Thornton. Thornton's wrapped up by Smith and Flanagan. That's tackle number 4. This will be the last tackle. Great defence from the Bulls here. 15 metres have restricted the Hemel Stags, and they'll be forced to kick via Lewis Sharif from deep inside his own half. Here goes Dalton Grant, traps the ball with his foot. He goes herring away, finds Pickersgill in centre field. Pickersgill still going, as we said. The short dimensions of the playing surface made everything's tight and compact, and everything's squeezed in down that middle channel. Pickersgill gets to his feet, plays the ball, it goes to Gibson. Gibson, who's brought down 20 metres out from that Hemel line, just to the right of centre field. Flanagan's looking at options. He's going to miss out Peltier, find Chisholm. Chisholm with a wayward pass, picked up by Smith. Smith tries to break clear, but he's immediately brought down there by Broadbent and DeCaro. And that'll be tackle number 4 for the Bradford Bulls. Quick play the ball, Garside, centre field. Chisholm to Ward, and Mikey Ward has spilt the ball. The line was open. Johnson, for good measure, touches it down, but it is another error from the Bradford Bulls. Error number 14 of the afternoon. The pressure's off. Scrum, head and feet to Hemel Stags, and on Bulls Live and Proper Sport, the score remains Hemel Stags 0, Bradford Bulls 36, John.
Yeah, poor execution there, in that set of pass behind someone, then that knock on. Again, just about mental toughness and agility, Mick, for me, about going through the processes. I don't know what John said at half-time, and as you said, it's 36-0 here at the moment, but we're just not making the most of the opportunities that we've got. And I mean, that last defensive set from Bradford was amazing. Hemel didn't get 15 metres out from their line, and yet when we get the ball turned over, we still can't manage to execute anything.
So around about 15 minutes gone in this second half. Angela Lemon watching from Lanzarote. Pat Broverton says 14 errors from the Bulls is just a little bit ridiculous. Ethan Norfolk watching, so too Vicky Swales, Josh Lanfear, Richard Johnson, Jill Johnson, Val Turner, also Lorraine Cartwright and Bev Warren, Reese France, Sue Bentley and Jean Wardman. Watching from Cornwall. Come on the Bulls, says Jean. It is Bulls Live Proper Sport here, round 11. And Bradford, they've been in a bit of an arm wrestle this afternoon with Hemel. And Dean Thomas, we'll get the thoughts of him after the match. But so far so good after that 16-try defeat against the York City Knights last weekend at Bootham Crescent. This, a much improved performance from the Stags. Pickersgill, tackle number 1. Bradford, ball back in hand, and that'll be Dalton Grant on tackle number 2. Flanagan to Gibson. Gibson tries to evade Stamp, but Paul Stamp wraps him up. And coming over the top for good measure there, Wayne Jowett. Here goes Ross Peltier down the middle, the Jamaican international. And he gets entangled in 2 Hemel Stag defenders. They're up to halfway, tackle number 4. It's going to go from Minchella to Johnson. Johnson wrapped up. Play on is the call. Johnson wasn't brought down, and Johnson will improve Bradford's position. Last tackle, says referee Michael Manningfield. And Liam Johnson's lost the ball. And Dane Chisholm beats the ball down in absolute disgust, John. A couple of the body language from the Bulls players. There's a bit of frustration in the gameplay.
Yeah, I think it was inevitable, wasn't it, after the way that the first half went. But, you know, they scored a couple of quick tries and just don't seem to have any fluidity about what they're doing. I know it's warm, but it's as if to me that they've been beaten by the heat and the focus and concentration has gone. And we need to try and get that back. What we got left, Mick? Probably 25 minutes?
24 minutes, I make it on the stopwatch, and the referee's going to stop the clock and allow the drinks break, the second drinks break of the game, John.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's probably much needed, but I keep saying it, and the listeners must be sick of hearing it. We do not have a leader on the field. We have ex-Super League players, ex-NRL players out there, and somebody needs to lead the team and guide what we're doing.
Latest scores from Betfred League 1. North Wales Crusaders 18, Coventry Bears 4. It is Hunslet 16, West Wales 0. Just kicked off at Keighley and Whitehaven, 0-0 at Cougar Park, but up at the recreation ground, the York City Knights have opened the scoring inside the opening 10 minutes. They lead Whitehaven by 6 points to 0. And up at Derwent Park, Leon Price against Jason Payne. It is scoreless between Town and the Thunder. And now Hemel have come up with an error after a great bit of defensive play from Ross Peltier. And I think we're seeing a bit of leadership there, John, from Crossley. High fives and pats on the back.
Yeah, fantastic hit and knock the ball out, but we're 55 minutes in, you know. Seems to have taken a while, but fantastic hit from Ross. Error now, we get the ball back. Bradford get the ball back 20 metres out.
So Bradford will have the scrum, 20 metres out from the Hemel line. They've already scored 6 tries this afternoon. Chisholm, Garside, Peltier, Flanagan, Ryan and Minchella. Chisholm 6 from 6. Bradford, incidentally, going into this game, as we already said, they've scored a deluge of points. 53 tries in the last 5 games, certainly arriving at Pennine Way on the back of a 5-game winning run. And when you look at the points for and against in 2018, although they did concede those 3 tries against the London Scholars and 3 tries, against Newcastle Thunder, they're still only averaging just 10 points against them per game, and that is certainly what John Keir asked for the side at the start of the season. But what John Keir certainly didn't ask at the start of the season was 15 errors. And now Hemel awarded their 9th penalty of the afternoon. So that's penalty number 25 in this game. And we've still got 24 minutes remaining, John. But how do you what's your take on all the errors this afternoon? Because we've watched Bradford this season. This is almost like a throwback to last year under Jeff Tuvey, where we were commentating on sometimes 18, 20, 25 errors.
Yeah, I don't know, Mick. I don't know what you put it down to, whether it's the heat, whether it's the surface, I'm not sure. But, I mean, the saving grace is at the 36 points in front. But to me, I mean, there's another error. I mean, the grass is 3 or 4 inches long here where the lines are not, which to me isn't an ideal playing surface. But we just don't seem to be clicking. In fact, Hemel are not clicking either. You know, but for me, execution has got to be better. The skill level has got to be better.
Well, we're still calling the action from right down at pitch side due to the connectivity issues, not able to call the game from a great depth. So we're stood on the railing here, and I tell you something, John, and for those watching, as Brandon Pickersgill tries to cut through, here goes Brandon Pickersgill. Pickersgill's away. He's got the zoom. He's got the boom. Goodbye, Brandon Pickersgill. What a fantastic try, and there's no one more deserving than enlightening in this big crowd at Pennine Way. Then Brandon Pickersgill, try number 4 of the season. The Bulls go out to 40, 7 tries to 0. Electrifying.
Brilliant that from Pickers, and he deserves that. He works hard every week, and for me is one of the most consistent performers in this squad. I thought he was going to get caught there, actually, then he put on the afterburners, as Mick would say, and he absolutely left the guy for dead. Fantastic finish.
I was just about to say, we're commentating down by the railings, and it's great to hear so many local accents and loyal supporters from Hemel here. They're watching us commentate on the game and watching us filming, and they're certainly enjoying this afternoon and seeing as we said, a couple of former Super League stars in this Bradford side. A lot of interest pre-game. The Hemel supporters having selfies with Lee Smith and Dane Chisholm, to name just 2 players. And Brandon Pickersgill, take a bow. 22 years of age, and young Brandon Pickersgill really is taking 2018 by the scruff of the neck and storming into the record books. Dane Chisholm, that's just across the face of the post. Hemel Stags 0, Bradford Bulls 40. Bulls live and proper sport, John. That's more like it from the Bulls.
Yeah, 3 tries in pretty quick succession here at the start of the second half. Hemel's body language to me now is looking very tired, albeit this winger here chased Pickers all the way there to the try line. But it should be an interesting last 20 minutes now if Bradford can take advantage. But as I say, the Hemel body language, they're looking a bit tired now to me.
Dave Mason points out the Bulls currently top, but only by a goal difference. Points for and against difference of 5. Saying, come on, Bulls, score more. Steve Smith says the Bulls, or should I say Hemel, need to look at the bloke who cuts the grass. Philip Jenkins says Bulls are winning 40-0. What more do supporters want? And Paul Ashworth says, just seeing you on the screen, Mick, makes your commentary even more impressive. Yep. That is us, we're down pitch side, so again, very difficult to make out where the lines are as Bradford awarded penalty number 16 of the afternoon, their 3rd penalty of this second half, and we've now had 26 penalties in total here from referee Michael Manningfield. So I was just replying to John's comment on the proper sports feed. Difficult to make out where the lines are, so an educated guess is probably me being brutally honest, but Bradford, they've got a full set of 6 inside the Hemel half. Gibson on tackle number 1. Halafihi to Peltier for tackle number 2, and Ross Peltier has lost the ball in a crunching 2-man tackle, and Kieran Moran will scoot away with the ball for Hemel on the 0 tackle. Moran, one of 2, or should I say 3 Hemel players who were in the bin in that first half. And what can Hemel do here now? It's been a massive step up in performance for Dean Thomas's side. As we said, they were on the end of a 16-try defeat against the York City Knights last weekend, and the sun really blazing down here now in this part of North London as it goes back down the middle channel, and that will be Rhys Williams who crashes onto the ball. 2 Bulls defenders there just slowing it down. Crossley and Halafihi, they're going to go on a scampering run down the middle with Broadbent. He's going to be held up by Johnson, and Hemel, a rare attacking foray inside the Bulls half. The kick comes from Lewis Sharif, and Lewis Sharif with the belly flop in the in-goal area. He'll get a 2 out of 10 for that dive, and it will be a 0 tackle for the Bulls, and Johnson will take the punishment and pain. 15 shy of halfway for the Bulls on the 0 tackle. Ethan Ryan probing, and now Ethan Ryan's lost the ball. Error number 17 for the Bulls, John, and I look at you, you're looking for divine invention, inspiration, you're looking to the skies for something.
Well, I think with the penalties and the error count, the game just hasn't got started, has it? I mean, last week was a real battle at Newcastle. Today, I think Bradford are battling against themselves, to be honest. Silly penalties, silly errors. But, you know, 40 points to 0, as someone just commented there on the feed. Yeah, Bradford are 40-0 up. But it's the way that they're 40-0 up, and it could be 60, I think, if people were firing on all 4 cylinders.
Well, geography wasn't quite my strong point at school. We are actually outside the M25 by about 6 miles, so North London comment perhaps a little bit disingenuous on my part, but some of the locals here are certainly enjoying the pitchside commentary.
That's what's wrong with you Northerners. You're not quite sure where you are when you leave home. I know where I am.
Less of it, John.
I've just been told calling Hemel North London is like calling Bradford in Lancashire, so there we go. There's just a hold-up in play. The water bottles on again. Rowan Milnes, Liam Kirk, 18th and 19th men this afternoon. And let's not forget that Rowan Milnes, along with Oliver Wilson, was named in the England national performance squad earlier on in the week, and there will be a couple of fixtures held at Odsal Stadium. There will be England against France on October the 17th, and there will also be Yorkshire against Lancashire, the Origin fixtures returning. That will be July 28th at Odsal Stadium, and that really does promise to be a thriller of a game. Yorkshire and Lancashire back doing battle at Odsal Stadium under the lights. So Rowan Milnes just not getting the nod this afternoon, but there will be a major announcement coming from the Bradford Bulls, along with John Bastian, a week on Friday night at Odsal at the Bull the Summer Ball. I'll say no more, but it'll certainly be an announcement that will please the entire Bradford Bulls support base. Here goes Dane Chisholm to Pickersgill to Smith. It opens up for Lee Smith. Lee Smith, though, fantastic tackle from Wellham. Wellham brings him down on the last. Pickersgill, crossfield kick. It's gone a little bit askew. It's been knocked forward by Hemel to Grant. Grant to Minnie. Minnie's in at the corner. He's got a double in Hemel Hempstead. It's 44 points to 0.
Yeah, class finish again from Elliott. Quite a way away from us, but looked like another bit of dazzling footwork. That's another brace he's got this afternoon. Absolutely on fire, a try scoring this season, Elliott. And to be fair, when nothing else was on there, Brandon Pickersgill kept his cool and put a kick to the far corner, and we've had a result out of it. So very good again from Brandon, but Elliott just can't stop scoring.
Try number 22 of the season. Is there such thing as the golden try in rugby league? I think in League One he'll certainly potentially try and grasp that from whoever currently owns it. But as we said, it's 22 tries in all competitions for Elliott Minchella. And we've just about reached the hour mark here. The stopwatch here says we've played 20 minutes and 24 seconds of the second half. So we've just on the hour mark, and it is 44 points to 0 to the Bradford Bulls. Dane Chisholm from that far touch line. That one has just gone to the right-hand side of the upright. And Jim Hayter says, quarter of the game left, time to step it up. Andrew Farrell says, when is Joe back, John? I think we already mentioned that in the preamble. Joe Keys, he'll be back in 2 weeks' time against the North Wales Crusaders. Yeah,
absolutely. I think there was a chance he could have played today, but just focusing on his final bits of his rehab along with Greg McNally, and they should both be back for the North Wales Crusaders game, which is in 2 weeks' time on the Saturday.
Nathan Hadfield says, great player, Elliott Minchella. Nick Lockyer now saying, we played a very good Thunder side last week who played tactically very well, suffocating our possession and keeping us on the back foot. It takes a lot of time and possession to stop the momentum. Graham Forrest says, don't know what needs cutting the most, the errors or the grass. And Janet Allinson says, Ross Peltier, what are you doing today? You are not yourself. I know I love your determination. You just don't need to do everything yourself. And John Jackson with a bit of clarity on the Bulls' performance. A lot of drop ball again, but we've still scored 44 points. Here goes Halafihi to Hallas. Hallas right in front of our commentary position on the touchline. Turned in the tackle. Bradford leading 44 points to 0. Halafihi out of dummy half. It goes to Chisholm, back on the Hemel 40. Here goes Mikey Wood down the middle. Mikey Wood's now lost the ball. Hemel have it on the free play. It's ricocheted off Brandon Pickersgill, and that'll be the zero tackle, and Hemel will have it just shy of the halfway line. So 19 minutes remaining here. Bradford the standout score we've seen thus far is an incredible 70-metre effort from young Brandon Pickersgills down this main stand side and just beating Darren Ford to reach out and score in the corner. That will certainly be on the highlights reel. So Hemel, though, dragging the Bulls into a bit of an arm wrestle, you feel. A bit of a loose pass towards Sonny Esselmont, and the former Hulkiston Rovers man and Scotland international will give the ball to Wellham, and Matt Wellham will carry Hemel inside the Bradford 20 on tackle number 4. Out of dummy half from Broadbent. Broadbent, run-man band, wrapped up there by Wood and Crossley, and this is now the last tackle for Hemel Stags. 5 metres out, centre of the field. It goes once again to Lewis Sharif, and Lewis Sharif and Vila Lafihi, I think, has just dived on the ball, and Bradford will have the ball deep inside their own half with 18 minutes to go. It is Bradford Bulls 44, Hemel Stags 0 here in Hemel Hempstead on a glorious, scorching Sunday afternoon. Just looking at the temperature once again, we're now up to 26, 27 degrees as Dalton Grant threatens to cut loose. Grant, of course, will serve a one-match ban for his part in the melee at Newcastle Thunder. Dane Chisholm up and over, halfway. Play on is the call. Chisholm wasn't brought down. That ball-carrying arm didn't hit the ground. And he's brought down for an extra 12 metres forward. The 38 out from the Hemel line as it'll go from Pickersgill to Hallis. Hallis, contact on the shoulder. This will be the 5th and last for John Keir's side as it goes to Brandon Pickersgill. Now in the halves. Crossfield kick to Dalton Grant. Dalton Grant, the Welsh wizard, will step inside. Marcus Elliott, he'll bring the house down here in Hemel Hempstead. It is a 9th try for the Bradford Bulls this afternoon, and Dalton Grant goes into double figures for the season. Try number 10 of the season, and it is now 48 points to 0, John Keys. Chisholm kicks this. The Bulls have hit the half century.
Yeah, absolutely. Great kick again there. Brandon Pickersgill really aware of what he was doing. Can play at full-back or at half and did really well there. Plucked out of the air by Dalton. Great finish. Yeah, if Dane gets this over now, we're up to the half century. Still for me though, Mick, and going back to the comments we've received today, that there seem to be lots and lots of unnecessary errors, and I can't explain that today. As I said, the pitch isn't brilliant. It's a short field, but knock-ons and silly mistakes and passes to no one, though we've got to eliminate that. There's a long way to go in this league yet. We've got to keep posting victories all the time, and against tougher teams we'll be exploited if we keep making those errors.
How do you assess this performance, John? Because we'll just wait to see if the kick goes over from Dane Chisholm, but there's still 16 minutes remaining here, and if this goes over from Dane Chisholm, this will have the Bulls out to the big 5-0, the half century. There's a bit of a hush from the Bulls supporters behind the sticks. That one is on point. So Hemel Stags 0, Bradford Bulls 50, Bulls Live, proper sport. How do you actually assess this performance? Because yes, there's been 17 errors. The Bulls have given away 10 penalties to Hemel. They've given a bit of dissent. Peltier's been in the bin, but they've still scored 50 points.
Absolutely, but then we must also put in context where Hemel are in the league, and I think we should never forget that in some of these fixtures. For me, and I keep saying it, 2 points every week. That's all we've got to keep doing. I think expectations with the fans sometimes may be a little bit different to what everyone else is thinking, but you know, if you said, Mick, I think there's 15 minutes to go here, that means there's still a few more points on offer, but I just need to see more professional execution. The skill level today hasn't been high enough for me.
Steve Crossley on tackle number 2 on the restart for the Bulls already. The Bulls slowly finding the edge, finding the form. There's good rhythm and intensity down to the Bulls' stride as Peltier will carry him 10 metres inside the Hemel half. Halafihi to Hallis, and Hallis on his return to action. He's been a workhorse this afternoon as Sam Hallis, always putting his head down, driving it in, carefree. Here goes Chisholm down the middle. He's the hot knife, Hemel's the soft butter, and this time the butter wins, but the knife will come back again as it goes from Pickersgill. Crossfield kick. Deja vu. Looking for Grant. Dalton Grant has it. And Dalton Grant touches down. The try's given by the referee. And it is now 54 points to 0. And Brandon Pickersgill, he got the man of the match last weekend. And I think he could run the vote close again.
I think so. Another great kick from Brandon. Dane got a bad slap in the face there, actually, which wasn't spotted by the officials. But we just said it, 14 minutes left and a few more points and off, and Bradford have gone straight up the other end and scored again. So, you know, they've just got to keep taking what's on offer all the time.
We're inside the final 14 minutes, and that is the 10th try of the afternoon for the Bradford Bulls. And that is Dalton Grant with his second of the afternoon and try number 12 for the season. So, Dalton Grant certainly joining Ethan Ryan and Elliot Minchella in the high try-scoring stakes. And don't forget, when we say that Minchella scored 22 tries, that's not just League One, that's including the Challenge Cup. And Dane Chisholm over on that eastern touchline, 20 metres out from the line. This potentially to take the Bulls out to 56. Strikes it with the right boot. That one looks good. Dane Chisholm, just 2 misses all afternoon. Hemel Stags 0, Bradford Bulls 56. And we've got 13 minutes remaining, we feel, here at Pennine Way. And Carl Walker says, what a difference it makes when we keep hold of the ball and complete our sets. Gary Boucher says, I think man of the match should be Dalton Grant or Brandon Pickersgill. And Helen Smith says, great try, Dolts, and a great kick from Brandon Pickersgill. Mary Delman says, can we give Jenny a shout out in Oman? We just did. Reese Burns watching, Michelle Cullen. And John Jackson says, we have to base this performance on what our rivals did. They beat Hemel by 90 points to 0. OK, we're approaching the final 10 minutes or so. Get your votes in for the Bulls Live Proper Sports man of the match this afternoon. Fire away. And Brian Jowett says, we've helped their spoiler tactics to be fair. Sandra Hannon also watching. So, Bradford, they've just been awarded another penalty, and that will be the 28th penalty of the match. And that just tells you what sort of game it's been. No real foul play or malice, but a very scrappy game. Certainly in the first half with 18 penalties. We've had 10 penalties in this second half. A lot better, a lot more cleaner, faster products. But as we said, that first half, 18 penalties, 4 men in the bin. I've very rarely called a game like that. Chisholm, Pickersgill, Laithwaite. James Laithwaite makes it look easy. Try number 11 for the Bulls. The Bulls go out to 60. Hemel Stags 0. Bradford Bulls 60. The kick will come 10 metres to the left-hand side of the upright, and this is more like it from the Bulls. They've gone back-to-back keys here. They've got a bit of momentum behind them.
Yeah, they have, and you know what? For me, this is how the game should have started. Bit of momentum, as I said at the start. Hemel are going to tire in the last 20 minutes. That's exactly what's happened. Great to see James get over for a score. Takes the score out to Mick. What does that take it out to? 60 now, 62, does it? But you know, a comment there about what York did to them. I think there is a bit of a difference in what we're seeing here today, and yeah, I agree a bit. All right, maybe York are posting lots of points, but York have got to come to Wadsall yet, and we've already beaten them up there. But I sort of 50% agree with you that, yeah, we've got to get more clinical and get more points on the boards against these teams.
Interesting point from Martin Burgess. Every side playing the Bulls as if it's their grand final, and that's some of that John Keira's known from the start. Other sides are going to raise the intensity when the Bulls are in town. Chisholm, another 2 points to his tally this afternoon. 10 from 12 attempts, and the scoreboard now reads Hemel Stags 0, the Bradford Bulls 64. Apologies, 62. Bulls Live Proper Sport. No scoreboard, no clock. I'll tell you something, I was commentating for Proper Sport on Friday night at the Select Security Stadium with Gary Schofield, and electronic scoreboards, countdown clocks. I certainly missed that from Super League, but League One, here we are in a tight, compact stadium, Pennine Way, and as we said, a couple of floodlights, and the birds in the trees watching the action this afternoon. Another penalty to the Bradford Bulls. That is their 19th penalty of the game, and that is penalty number 29. So we're heading towards a high penalty count here as the ill discipline is starting to cost Dean Thomas's side. The trail 62 points to 0. Bradford, are they going to go back to back again? And as we said, they've already scored 20 points in the last 12 minutes. They're looking hungry. Halafihi will find Peltier. Peltier down the middle, up to the Hemel 20. 3 men on tour. Peltier gets up, plays the ball. Halafihi scoops it up to Hallas. Hallas to Chisholm, to Pickersgill to Smith. Lee Smith, with all his experience, sucks in 3 defenders. He's wrapped up on his back. Just 10 metres out from the line. Leithwaite, incidentally, his second try in the red, amber and black of the Bulls. Peltier, neat little run there. And Ross Peltier still going. A metre shy of the line. And the Jamaican international will get to his feet, play the ball. And that's the 30th penalty of the game. Hemel, hands at the ruck. 20 penalties to the Bulls, 10 penalties to Hemel. Can the Meccan pay? Leithwaite, a metre shy. Great defence there from Wellham and Ford. Halafihi out of dummy half. Vila's gone over. He gets his party trick up and running. It's 66 points to 0. Route 66 for the Bulls.
Yeah, great TV get over one of our most consistent players, always hungry and scanning at dummy half, as I often repeat. Bradford are piling a few points on their in this last 10 minutes.
66 points to 0, under 10 minutes remaining now on the clock. And then Chisholm, a chance to add on the extra 2. And Hemel's last win at Pennine Way last June, 32-26 against Oxford. And it's looking like the wait will continue, although they do have the West Wales Raiders coming up on the horizon in the next couple of weeks. So certainly that a chance for Dean Thomas to get Hemel's first win of the season. But Bradford, as we said, they know they had to certainly pick up after half-time, after only leading 24 points to 0, but a much more composed second half performance as Hemel have certainly ran out of puff. So Chisholm, just to the left-hand side of the uprights, an extra 2 points. Bulls live, proper sport here at Pennine Way in the glorious sunshine. And it is Hemel Stags 0, the Bradford Bulls 68, John. And I think we've still just under 10 minutes to go. There's still a chance the Bulls could get potentially to 70, maybe 80. And when people look at that scoreboard and you factor in giving Hemel 10 penalties, a man in the bin and nearly 20 errors, I think John Keir's going to be pretty pleased with just how under fire his side can perform.
Yeah, I think so, but he's also going to keep it realistic, isn't he? Hemel haven't won for months, and yeah, Bradford are being a lot more clinical now. And then we make an error off the kick-off. But yeah, you know, 60, there's still a chance for another couple of more scores here.
Well, Bradford have just let the ball bounce in the in-goal area and go dead in goal, so that's the second time this afternoon that's happened, and it will be a set of 6 for Hemel. And we reckon we have around about 5 minutes remaining now on the stopwatch. And David Ward says, don't think there will be a drop goal in that grass. And Carl Dolphin just reiterating what Mark Cordingley says. Would York get 90 points on this field? Difficult under-field conditions. And Hemel come up with an error from the goal line dropout. And I think if any 2 pieces of play are going to sum up this game, John, this afternoon, that's it. But the Hooters sounded a little bit earlier than planned. But it will result in a Bradford Bulls victory by 68 points to 0 in the sunshine here at Hemel. And John Keys, 80 minutes in 80 seconds, please, if you'd like.
Okay, so I think Hemel battled really hard. I think Bradford have got quite a lot to work on for next week. Too many penalties. 4 yellow cards in the first half didn't help the game. But again, we'll leave with 2 points. Haven't conceded any and put 68 onto our tally. Man of the match for me this week. It's not really close. It's going to go to Brandon Pickersgill. Best try of the day. Consistent, set up 2 tries with good kicks. So, whilst it's the second week in a row for him, I thought he was outstanding again today, Brandon, and actually kept his cool when things weren't going too well.
Well, Brandon Pickersgill, he really, to me, was the catalyst for that deluge of points towards the end, John. That fantastic 70-metre try straight out from backfield along this main stand touchline. And just in the background, we can see John Keir shaking the hand and consoling some of the Hemel Stags players. As we said, they've really upped their performance for this big bumper record crowd down here at Pennine Way this afternoon. And although in that first half they've lost their way a bit, John, conceding 20 penalties, 3 men in the bin, I think ultimately Dean Thomas, when he'll look at what happened last week at Bootham Crescent versus this week, there has been a massed improvement. Yeah, absolutely, but I just think as well that it has been an improvement, but it's going to be a tough year for these boys, and again it's something else the RFL have got to look at.